And welcome back for another edition of 10 Count. I'm Steve Kim, joined by Michael Baca of UCN Live, and it's the return of the sports god, Dave Smith. And guys, as we wrap up the year 2016 is coming to an end, take a look at the Fight of the Year candidates, and what really stands out is one fight that we were both at ringside at the StubHub Center, June 4th, Orlando Salido and Francisco Vargas in an old-fashioned Mexican war. For my money, I still think it is the fight of the year.
I completely agree, and I think it's going to be one of those things when I think there's two real candidates for fight of the year. That fight, Vargas-Salido, Frampton, Santa Cruz, the second fight. And when you ask somebody which one of those is their fight of the year, if they were there, if they were there like us, we were there in LA, that's our fight of the year. For those in Brooklyn, if they saw it live, that's their fight of the year, and that's completely fine.
Yeah. And Dave, I know one fight that you did like, and one of your favorite fighters, Keith Thurman, out battling Sean Porter.
Maybe a little bit of prejudice here, because he's kind of like my Bernard Hopkins in this era. When I first saw him years ago, I like Keith Thurman. I was predicting greatness for him. That was a good fight. Porter was coming forward the whole fight. I thought Thurman outpointed him. That, to me, I think that's the fight of the year so far.
Interesting. You know, I thought that fight had a lot of effort, not a lot of execution, as I like to call it, athletic flailing. Just because you throw a lot of punches. I think the difference in the Salido-Vargas fight compared to that one, I thought Salido and Vargas landed more. And to me, that's important. I'm not knocking the effort, but again, I do think you have to actually land the punches. The other fight that I really liked that just happened this past weekend, I think Dillian Whyte, Derek Chisora, I think is going to make a late run, Mike. I think that was a fantastic effort by both men.
It's up there. It didn't have the blood of Vargas-Salido. And when you have blood, you have drama. And it was an amazing fight. It was definitely the best fight I've ever been to in person. And I'll never forget that night. It was unbelievable.
Part of the StubHub mystique.
Yes.
And Dave, the one thing about Frampton Santa Cruz, which I thought was an excellent fight, I don't know, maybe it's just me, and I called the fight wrong. You really called the fight wrong. I thought Frampton kind of controlled most of the action against Santa Cruz. I don't think there was enough two-way action to really put this over the top.
I'm with you, and I thought Frampton won the fight close as well, but it was, I like him, by the way, Frampton. So you think, would you say right now, pound for pound, how close to the top is he?
Frampton?
At the top of the list. I like him a lot.
I'm not really a pound for pound guy, but I don't know.
If you were to say to me, is he
10?
one of the top 10 fighters in the world? Offhand, I'd say yes, because you look at the work he did at 122 and now at 126. Yes, and listen, most people, including us, I thought Leo Santa Cruz would be too long, too tall, too rangy, too busy for Frampton. But in that fight, I thought Frampton was a much more versatile fighter. I thought he used his movement, hitting on the fly, beating him to the jab, and then beating him on exchanges. And Mike, I thought he landed the harder punches against Santa Cruz.
Definitely, and he hurt him a couple times in that fight.
Yeah.
Wobbled him in the second round, I believe, and I think that's where the fight changed. Frampton kind of figured out that I can hurt this guy, and I'm going to be more aggressive, and he was. And you know, to compare Frampton, Santa Cruz, and Porter Thurman, Frampton, Santa Cruz, and Porter Thurman were almost the same fight. Just Frampton, Santa Cruz had more punches landed. A lot of missing in that Thurman Porter fight.
Right, and Vargas Salido to me is one of the great Mexican wars there ever has been, and I got to give a tip of the cap to Siri Salido. If you go back to, let's say, two and a half, 3 years, literally every fight he's been involved in, the two fights against Roman Rocky Martinez, the fight where he won the title, 130-pound title against a Thai fighter in Mexico where he got sent down 3-4 times. It's amazing the career resurgence that he's had. I would hate to see this award taken from him. By the way, if you look at the overall scope of Salido's career, I thought he beat Martinez for the WBO title on the rematch. Vargas was a draw. He could easily be a unified champion at 130. That's how these decisions really do affect careers. Yeah. All right, well, that's it for this edition of the 10 Count. On behalf of Michael Baca and Dave Smith, this is Steve Kim saying goodbye, everybody.